Okay, so I'm going to try and make this really quick. I actually wrote it out here, just so we can, it's faster. All right, so what I'm going to be going over is indentation and parent and child structuring. This is using a markup, HTML, as you can see. And you can see here we have some different elements here, and you really can't tell exactly what's going on here. This is completely unstructured as far as indentation. There's no structure at all that we can visibly see, apart from starting from the outside and working our way. It can be, very, very tiresome. So this does not work properly. And if I have you look at this right now, you're going to be wondering, well, where is this problem, and where's it at here? Well, that's what we'll be going over: indentation. The way the structuring works, it's parents and childs. Now, the HTML is a parent. It's also called root here because it is the outermost that you can be. And everything else is going to be inside this, is going to be a subchild to this element. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to set up indentation in a way that shows us exactly how this is going to go together. And it will help us find out what the problem is with this and why it's not showing properly. And I'll put this over here just so you can see how it shows up currently. All right, so we're going to start here at the top. Now remember, if something is a child, to a element, then it's going to be indent inside of it. So we're going to be going a structure that's going to be working our way right as we get further and further and further in. All right, so I'm using my tab key, indentation. So hit the tab key, and you can see here, body is now aligned here, and this is, now we can clearly see that body is a child of HTML. All right, so now we have OL here, and you can see here that this is the opening body tag. Where's the closing body tag? The closing body tag is down here. So right now you can see that everything that is inside of here is going to be child to this body tag, but you can't clearly see how it's all set up, and it gets harder and harder the further in you go. So we're going to continue on here. This li here is a child to this OL here, so this is going to be indented in. Hot sauce is going to be text that's going to be inside of li, so that's going to be indented in. And then we have li here. This is the closing tag for this li. So that means that this li isn't going to be a child to this li, because this li is after the closing tag for this li. So that means that this is going to be on the same level indentation as this one, because this isn't a child of this. This is a child of this. So this and this, this and this is child of this. Try that again. This and this is a child of this. All right. Now you see here we have shoes. Shoes is text that's going inside of the li. So that's going to be indented in. And here's the closing tag for this li. So you can see that the next item is not going to be a child of this. It's going to be a child of this. Okay, but we can see here that this is actually the closing element tag for this. So that means that this isn't a child of this. This is actually the ending point that says this is the end of this. that means that we're no longer going to, be a child of this. That means we'll be a child of this. Okay, so next we have this BR, and this is a break line. And this is a little bit different here, because normally you'd be looking for something kind of like this, and then this. And this would be the opening, and this would be the closing. But since there doesn't need to be anything in between that space, we can save ourselves the bytes and the time by just putting a slash here. This indicates that this is not only the starting tag, this is also the closing tag. So that means that this will not be a child of this, because this is the opening and the closing. So what does that mean? That means that this OL is going to be a child of what? Well, this is already closed, so it's not a child of this. So that means that it would be a child of this one. All right, so I'll indent it out here. And see here that LI inside of there. I'm going to be going a little bit quicker here this time. Let's see, what do we got here? This is inside of here. Inside of here. Here. This one is going to be inside of here as well. Here. You can see here that this is a OL tag. Now wait a minute. If this is an OL tag and this is an OL tag here, then that would work, but that means that this does not have a closing tag. This has to have a closing tag before we reach the end element of this. So what does that tell us here? That tells us that this is not actually going to go here, it's actually going to go here, because this is the opening element and this is the closing element. So you can see here that we have an LI that has an OL closing tag. So we're going to switch that to an LI. And next here we have another OL. And well, let's see, this one is closed off, so that means we're not going to be a child of this. It's got its closing tag. So now we're out here again. All right, so we have an OL, and then we have an OL closing tag. That means that this here is the opening tag, and this is the closing tag. That means that everything else is going to be a child of this. Okay, so we'll put this out here. Now you can see here, opening, closing. All right, good. We'll move on here. Whoops, without the extra button presses here. All right. Now, this is a little bit odd. You see here that this is closed by this here. That means it's not a child of this. Let's see. Huh. Well, normally, if we had a LI tag without, an opening like this, if we had an opening like this before this would work. But since it's a closing LI and we don't have any LIs to close, this is not valid. So that means that this has to be a closing tag for OL. See here, OL, opening and closing. Okay, so moving on, this one here, we've just closed this off here. So that means that nothing else is a child of this. That means the next one down here, this one, this is going to be the parent of whatever here comes next. So see here that got here. Now I've kind of forgotten where I was at. Li. Yep. Okay. It's important to make sure you're doing it right. See here that this is closing, so this will be a child to the next one out, which is the body element tag. And last but not least, this is the closing for body. Okay, so as you can see here, we were able to fix this by putting a a little bit of indentation and looking at our structures. And this video is actually going a lot longer than I wanted it to, but oh well. All right, so now this is what we have here. You see here that we have one hot sauce, two shoes, one hot sauce, two shoes inside of its OL tag. Good. Now down here we have the next OL, and inside of it we have two lists. So that means there will be two lists, one here, one here. Good. Inside of this one, there's another list here. So inside of this, there is a list. So we'll have cookie and donut. Good. And then inside of this list, we have two more lists. So that means in here we have pizza, one. You see it's one here. And then right immediately followed is a another list here. And so it's going to reset. And you see here fries is one and potato is two. So you can see here that we've managed to fix our structure and get our elements working properly using a little bit of indentation. And that is one of the importance of indentation. I'm not going to go fully into this, but I do want to say that after you are going to do a release, you don't need to modify it anymore. It is important to take out the indentation and the actual new line character, and you can't see it, but there is an invisible new line character that does take up a byte, indicating that it is this next line. Now this is fine for like if you're just doing normal web page, but like if you're doing something professional and you want to use the least amount of bandwidth, each of those little indentations is going to take up a byte, and each of those new line characters is to take up a byte. It's important that you think about these things, optimization, and less money you're going to have to be paying for bandwidth to get the same content. It is not graceful to read source-wise, but as far as optimization, how long it takes to download the page, that sort of thing, it is much quicker. And I'm not going to finish doing that because no point. But yeah, that is a little bit on indentation of HTML elements. I hope that helps explain it a little bit better, and if you get stuck again, that you can reference it and help you out a bit. All right, we're done.